Hello, fair listener. Welcome and thank you for following our journey on metagaming by Rum Propelled Gaming. Fair warning, sometimes we are not safe for work, and others not safe for real life. Journey forth at your own risk.
Josh,
Yes, Mariel.
thank you. Can I request a definition of good and evil?
Are you sure you want to go down that path?
We're
I
gonna be here
do,
for
I
the
do.
next hour.
Slippery slope.
Weren't you just
because-
making fun of nuisance for asking that kind of question?
Wait,
Good,
was I?
What is
The help
life?
of-
Oh, well, no, that's
progression.
different, sister. No, I'm legitimately asking like a D&D terms, like, can we define good and evil? Because I feel like the general definition isn't just like doing bad things.
It's just being a
Doing
dick.
like things that maybe are not against this like world's code. But I might not be understanding. I'm looking for an understanding to like adjust Mariel's evil level.
I figured we were just being brash as dickheads. Like, I thought that, like, as far as our evil would go.
Well,
I would actually, in this particular instance, as weird as it may sound, defer to the players.
That sounds like
I mean,
I would say good is anything that helps the progression of the betterment of the world, and evil is everything else.
I think I have a great definition of evil. I think a great definition of evil is asking 13 D&D players what the difference between good and evil is 5 minutes before the end of the session.
Yeah, that's something.
yeah. I feel like
My
evil here is encompassing anything that's not good, right? I feel like it's a lot easier for us to say yes, that's good, than it is for us to say yes, that's evil. And
That's what I
so,
said.
if you look at something and you can't say yes, that's good, I feel like it should be evil.
Going back to what I said, good is to help the betterment of the world in general, and evil
Yeah,
is
but those are
everything
real
else.
small boxes.
Yeah, because I'd be saying a kitten eating a muffin does not help the betterment of the world.
Oh,
So,
it's evil.
by-
Not evil.
By your logic, that kitten
That helps the
and the
betterment of the
muffin
world
are
because it helps
evil.
the betterment of that kitten, and the kitten is part of the world. Okay.
Also, if someone
But
watched
it's a
that kid
muffin,
eat that
so it's
muffin,
actually
that
not
would
good
bring
for the
them
kid.
joy. That would help
Muffins-
betterment of the
muffins are
world.
bad for
Now,
kids.
what if it was a poor Ethiopian that had the muffin and the kitten stole it and was eating in front of the poor Ethiopian that couldn't reach it anymore?
Okay.
Now what if
okay,
the cat?
Okay.
You're gonna resend that comment because there's too many holes poked in that.
What the hell?
I literally just caused absolute chaos. Oh Jesus! Sorry.
I mean, I could go down the hole. I could spend an entire session talking about this, and probably will at some point. What were you getting at, Marilyn?
No, I was just trying to understand, like,
For a better way to react to situations, I understand why you're
yeah,
asking.
right, like, just doing things to be a dick versus, like, doing things that, like, whether if evil's deferred to, like, your own selfishness. Like,
It's usually
if you're
evil
getting
is selfishness.
selfish, if you're getting enjoyment by doing that, yeah, I'm just trying to truly I've always battled with the whole like good versus like evil, and I've started to finally understand lawful versus chaotic, but like I still
So
don't understand.
What's
I
with
can
this
tell you that
whole
for nuisance,
crystal?
the reason why I've classified nuisance as evil is what the ancient Greeks would have called hamartia, a virtue in excess. So nuisance discovered that there was something in the middle. Thinks it discovered. It may be wrong about this. Also, it may be mad. Thinks it discovered that there was something so inimical to the world, like a piece of grit in the fabric of the multiverse, that the universe created the land of fairy, the entire plane of fairy around it, like an oyster creates a pearl to protect itself.
Mhm.
And Nuisance is so curious about what that thing is that Nuisance made a deal with it somehow.
Okay.
And now is the only good. Nuisance has a definition of good, and that definition of good is, does it get me better understanding what that thing is?
And
Everything else is anything that distracts Nuisance from that is bad. Nuisance doesn't care what Nuisance does to other people. Nuisance has no use for love. Like,
I would
only cares about that.
build upon your ideal of that and say the fact that good and or evil, and this is why I deferred the question to the players, is defined by the individual perspective. Anyone that creates, even Hitler, to an extreme example, perceived himself as doing good.
I hate that I have to say this, but in our modern political climate, Hitler was bad, y'all.
Exactly.
Hitler was not good.
Exactly.
But
Not
Hitler,
him.
Exactly.
Hitler's
Wait,
not
what? No way.
No, but okay, so that brings up a solid point, is that we are in hell, so being bad is
being
good.
Should we start being good then?
Yeah.
This breaks that whole concept of, like, if you're actually chaotic evil, like...
So I feel like our characters still, like, ideally we still have a backstory, our characters still have motivation, and it's what we would do to achieve that motivation that maybe is good or bad.
Speaking of, Chauvin, what's your biggest regret?
Yeah.
It doesn't like follow basically what you're saying is that, like, it doesn't follow under the, like, societal code is what, so, like, following societal code is what makes it good, and ignoring societal code.
Because Ash's character thinks she's doing good. She
But that's
is
like
out here to better herself and her family because she thinks bettering herself and her family will help progress the world on a better path.
Right.
But whether you think that or not, like, your character is still doing something, whether they think it's good or not, they're doing something that's going against societal code, is what I'm going at.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Well, so I guess.
So, yeah, she thinks she's doing good, but she's now on a path that is like, I am going to steal because that is the easiest way for me to gain financial security in this world, and that's going to produce good for my family, but that is technically against societal code.
So what you're
Yes.
asking essentially is the Hammurabi code of this world.
I'm going to ask you, Chauvin, what's your biggest regret?
Hammurabi did not invent morality.
He did not, but we base a lot off of that.
True.
I
But
have been an
also-
octopus the entire time and didn't believe that I would be able to give one.
But also, we're talking about societal code outside of hell, right? When you say that.
Yeah,
Because I feel
I
like-
would consider outside of hell because I don't think hell gives
Yeah,
a shit.
inside of how we're technically good people.
I'm also typing into the Discord chat right now just a quick breakdown of, like, the three main ways to answer this question, only one of which is figure out the code. Like, there are other ways to approach the question.
Absolutely.
I just feel like
Well,
Personally, the way I play Flint is whatever betters you, fuck everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If they help you get what you want, awesome. If not, let them burn.
That was Warren's thing until he got his crown stolen, and now he just kind of wants to watch the world burn.
So,
well,
like,
I think there's lots
this
of
is-
food for thought here.
Welcome to my ship, laddie.
I think I figured out that my character's the evilest of all of us. As true neutral, my character started off as true neutral. Now chaotic evil, but yeah. But my character is evil not because he was true neutral, but because he kind of felt like anything that benefited him was better than anything else. So, like, he wouldn't, like, start fights just to start fights, but if it gave him, like, an advantage to, like, steal something, he would start fights.
And that is intentionally evil? On your part? Not on Warren's part?
Well, even though he's, like, true neutral, he evil things often get people into trouble, and he understands that. And as much as he wants to be that, he understands that he is only a single person. So he kind of has to, like, ride the line of, like, morality. Not because he believes in it, but because he likes being alive and not being beheaded because of a crime he committed.
I think evil's more complicated in that Zolas will do a good thing for a not good reason. So like keeping Alfred alive was not because, oh, I am a good person and I want Alfred to be alive. It's because Alfred probably had information that I needed. So like, yeah, it wasn't a matter of, I feel like truly being a dick would just be like, I don't care, but like the fact that Alfred probably has information that I needed meant that I would keep him alive regardless of good or evil because of the character's motivations, which are mostly selfish.
Okay, so I think our characters are very similar in that. Like, we would do the thing that benefits our character the most because that benefits our character the most and fuck everyone else.
Yeah. So, at that point, I would say that evil is a level of selfishness.
Maybe in hell where there's no code, yeah.
So that's my point. Is
yeah, right? And maybe that's what I'm battling with, because I don't know if my character would do any of these things that would be considered evil because she's lawful. Like, I'd consider her lawful neutral, actually.
Well, lawful only matters when there's laws, and in hell, are there any?
Well, no. Incorrect. Your laws are your internal laws.
Mm-hmm.
Like, lawful is like you have a code and you follow it.
Yeah.
So, chaotic is like, you might do something here and you might do something elsewhere. Actually, kind of like a totally different story is I had a very serious relationship conversation with my boyfriend about how he's chaotic and I'm lawful, and there's like things that like he'll say, and this is like my understanding of it, and so like whether people agree with it or not, but like he'll say something, and you know, for example, he'll be like, you know, oh, I really I don't care about how nice a place is, you know, but I only care about, you know, XYZ. And so I will take that law and find a place that, you know, it doesn't really care how nice it is, but it has a dishwasher, it has these things, right? And then we go and visit the place, and then Mike will be like, this is garbage. This is garbage. God, this place is so terrible. And I would like, like my own mind will break because I'm going, but the law, I put the law down, and you said you cared about this. You said no, you don't care. It's really not a big deal, but it's like a like descript, like it's just such a true like like he says things and then just does whatever it is in the moment, and like I truly like I'm like, that's chaotic, like a chaotic person, Mike. Like, I understand now that I am a lawful person. I create rules in my mind. I live off of rules, and he just sometimes he believes things, sometimes he doesn't. It's all fine. It's the world of Mike. So that's my understanding of like lawful and chaotic. But then depending on whether that's like that's where like, you know, good versus evil is whether you follow the social rules and whether you don't follow the social rules. It depends on how like that goes.
Well, My problem with that like version of lawful is that like if you think that in your truest code that like I don't know like people or like elves or whatever are like the problem with society, and that like it would be better like in the D&D world to just get rid of all the living creatures on Earth because Earth would be better off without them, or Terrath, then you would technically be a lawful character and like commit a genocide.
Yeah. No, think about if you were a part of a thieves guild and you respected the laws of the thieves guild, you'd technically be a lawful evil character.
But that's my thing. That's a thieves guild, and it's laws set up in like a group, not like laws set up of like inner morality.
So,
but when
inner morality is its own thing. So you can define your own rules, like you were saying, Sarah. How like you came up with your own rules defined upon a situation, but what you're talking about is like the societal rules which is why you were asking the question, I think, ultimately, of what is the society that everyone is in currently, and what are the rules that are set out by them. And yeah, it might be that you came from the human society or this society and that society. All of that I've left to the wayside because I've kind of left the world to be an open play box that you guys can help create. So, because I don't want to define anybody into a box is part of the problem in answering that question, in my opinion. But if you want me to come up with a list of rules that like are defined, I think it would change to each society that you would be in the different areas too, and that's
at that point we'd be just creating our own rules basically at that point.
Exactly.
Which is what we're getting back to, is that each person has their own code.
Yeah.
And that code may or may not be related to an actual set of laws that other people follow, or just that they follow.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. Like, I feel like lawful characters compared to chaotic characters, like, follow the rules of society, which makes them not chaotic.
Follow the rules that they wrote.
But well, if their rules conflict with society and they start burning down a village because they think it's the best, that would be considered chaotic in the society's point of view. And I thought that's kind of what the what is it called? The good, neutral, evil, lawful.
Yeah, alignment.
Alignment was based on because like,
it's really
if you think if you honestly think that for the betterment of the world, you need to kill everyone that's on the earth, you would technically be a lawful, good character committing a genocide.
And that's kind of a Hitler right there, because like or even better yet, how's this for a good example? The Knights Templar. For the good of God and all society, everyone must follow our God. If you do not, we will kill you.
That's called lawful evil right there. That's what evil is. They're following a law, but it's not a law that is good.
They're following a social construct that is not widely accepted, but is accepted amongst a group of people, and they follow that to be their code.
Yeah,
right.
So they're all lawful evil.
Okay. So, I'm online. I'm looking, right? So just, we can agree or disagree. So it says, good characters and creatures protect innocent lives. Evil characters and creatures debase or destroy an innocent life wherever for fun or for profit. And then it says, lawful characters tell the truth, keep their word, respect authority, honor tradition, and judge those who fall short of their duties. Chaotic characters follow their consciences, resent being told what to do, favor new ideas over tradition, and do what they promise if they feel like it.
I think
so, like, literally, good versus evil is just innocence. Right?
Yes.
Like protection of innocent life, destroying of innocent life.
So,
Well, yeah, because that's what chaotic is. But I don't know. When I get confused like this, I kind of look for like examples in things that we've seen and like grown up with. Because I know like Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame is considered lawful evil because he is following a code. He's following a law that he deeply believes in, but he's being an absolute like parasite to the city and just killing people left and right, and hides a young man in a church because he's like, oh, you're ugly, nobody wants to look at you. That is a form of evil. He didn't kill Frodo, but that's a form of evil right there. But he is also lawful, following the law.
My brain starting to hurt.
This can get so in depth, and I've looked up like videos about this, watched TikToks, read articles, all kinds of stuff.
Can we make this a bonus episode and just call it Good versus Evil, the debate?
The debate.
Yeah, I did actually start recording it separately so that I could kind of do that.
That's great.
So
chaotic just throws a wrench in it though, because like you have good, you have evil. Those things seem like maybe you could define those things, but if you're chaotic, that kind of means that you'll swing between either. Like,
yeah, that's what chaotic is. It means you are all over the place. You are unpredictable. Nobody knows what you're gonna do. You might be good, you might be bad, but nobody fucking knows.
Right.
Maybe
So
not
I think
even
I think Zolas is chaotic neutral because she will do good things if it benefits her, but like no one else knows if it benefits her or not. Like only she knows that.
So this goes back to my thing is like it's based on the social construct of basically you're going against society when you're being chaotic, just because that's what you feel like, or
Yeah, I would say chaotic is going against like societal rules, societal regulations, societal laws, or even like societal being like what your family puts in place, what your guild puts in place, things like that. That is chaotic.
So
but
that's
you
why,
can be a chaotic good character.
yeah, like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Like Thea.
Yeah. So like it's like chaotic evil believes their alignment is best because it combines self-interest and pure freedom. It's the most dangerous alignment because it represents the destruction of not only beauty in life but also the order of which beauty and life depend. So it's like pure destruction.
Which alignment is that?
That's chaotic evil.
Okay.
Which would be my character at this point.
And neutral evil beings consider themselves their alignments to the best because they can advance themselves without regards for others. It's the most dangerous alignment because it represents pure evil without honor, without variation. So it's just like, this is what I'm doing. So neutral villains hold up evil as an ideal, committing evil for its own sake. Most often, such villains are devoted to evil deities or secret societies. So, like, I feel like Mariel would be a neutral evil because she's following an evil deity.
Deity.
Deity. Sorry, dyslexia.
Trust me, we're all there with you.
And then lawful evil. Consider their alignment to be best because it combines honor with a dedicated self-interest. Lawful evil is the most dangerous alignment. I feel like they're all the most dangerous.
Yeah, it keeps repeating that statement.
Yeah, seriously. It represents methodical, intentional, and frequent successful evil. So like planned evil.
And predictable evil. Like you know they're gonna do the bad thing.
Yeah.
Like put shiny
So
object
lawful-
in front of them. They're
gonna
take
take
shiny.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
put orphan that's sad inside of the street, they're going to kick it.
Yep.
Chaotic neutral seeks to eliminate all authority, harmony, and order in society. It represents true freedom from both society's restrictions and do-gooder zeal.
I think that's the one that I play most.
You're right.
Same.
It looks...
Do you guys want me to keep going through this?
Yeah, what's true neutral? I want to know.
I've read those, but I wouldn't mind a reiteration.
Okay. So neutral, it represents apathy, indifference, and lack of conviction. So you act neutrally without prejudice or compulsion.
That would be truly difficult to play, I think.
Yeah, to not have any passion or reaction for anything.
I
feel like Warren, before getting the crown stolen, was very there, not just because he was just like trying to like meandering through life. He wasn't really like going towards any goal. He was just existing and like going from town to town.
I think Hamilton is that way too, because he's just like trying to live because he kind of thinks that he lost everything in the world.
Yeah, they see good, evil, law, and chaos as prejudices and dangerous extremes. They advocate the middle way of neutrality as best, most balanced road in the long run.
So Thanos.
No. He requires action to fulfill his deeds.
Lawful evil.
Correct. The real neutral would be Buddha.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh wow, I didn't even think, like I would have thought that would have been like neutral good, but it's like no, true neutral is like a monk. Like they have just like I think of like the Avatar, like all of his like.
So what would be like to have like, okay, so like is like so like true neutral is lack of prejudice, right? Like that's how it's described. What's the opposite when you're just prejudiced against everybody?
You hate everything.
Yeah,
chaotic. Wouldn't that also?
Well, wouldn't that be either lawful good or evil? Just lawful in general.
My point is like, if you don't have any major opinions, and then you also have someone who also hates everything, isn't that basically at the same point?
No.
No.
Because the person who doesn't care about anything doesn't hate anything.
Yes, and also like, not caring about it is a form of hate.
You see where I'm getting at?
Yeah.
No.
The lack.
So you would advance yourself without regards for others?
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be neutral evil.
Well,
yeah.
I feel like neutral is not following any. They're not prescribing to any code at all, which is like the opposite of lawful.
And the opposite of chaotic, because you could almost assume chaotic because.
What?
When you discover the alignment chart is not a square, but it is in fact a Rubik's Cube.
Conformity to ideals. Right here.
I've thought about this topic, I feel like, a decent amount. Just especially like, I don't know. I still want, even if we're in an evil campaign, I still want my character to have reasons why it's doing things, you know?
And Cassidy, I would agree with you there, where it's like, I feel like I still need a purpose, and I still feel like I need and that just might be like the Sarah leaching out into this.
Which isn't bad.
Yeah, like I can't, it's really hard to kind of do something in like true evil or true chaotic, I guess. But even at that point, I'd say probably chaotic isn't that hard. It's just the evil, where it's like doing things for your own, yeah, to hurt others, really.
Okay, so now I'm thinking of like the other D&D thing I'm in, which is B&B, which me and Ash are involved in,
Yeah.
and my character is lawful good, kind of. He does some really fucked shit, but it's for like the betterment of the world as a whole.
So I would say lawful neutral.
Yeah, I was gonna say you are a lawful character, but you do bounce back and forth between like good and evil deeds. Because I mean, like you shot a doctor in the head.
He was drugging the town.
He was, and he really pissed off the like security personnel of that town, and they wanted him dead too, because they were getting people sick and addicted, and trying to get them to join a cult so that they could be sacrificed to a monster and be eaten. That was like their end goal.
Number 6 definition in Merriam Webster for virtue is chastity, especially in women.
Okay.
Nice.
Wait, what?
I went on a rabbit hole because of I went into the Merriam Webster direction, and as we use that as our normal code of words in our society, for the most part, in the English American society, that is.
The dictionary. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it isn't the dictionary, although we refer to it as that.
A dictionary.
It is a dictionary.
Yes. Yes.
And the first thing it says for evil is morally reprehensible. And I was like, okay, what's moral definition? A moral discourse, statement, or lesson, and a doctrine or system of moral conduct, all of which we were already talking about, morals. And then the third one down is conformity to ideals of right human conduct, which is still something that is defined by society. Like, you can't have moral conduct defined by... You can have moral conduct that's defined by the person, and you can have moral conduct that's defined by the society, basically, is what we were already talking about. So I'm rehashing all the things that we were just talking about, but from outside sources of D&D, and that's when I was like, okay, so the last one says moral conduct or virtue as a synonym, basically, for morality. And that's where I was like, okay, what's virtue?
A woman.
Yeah, and then that was the sixth one down. Chastity, especially in women, just made me giggle. But the first definition there is conformity to a standard or right, a particular moral excellence.
Chastity, especially in women.
And that was 6 for whatever reason.
That's fucking funny, let me tell you what.
I think it is funny. Yeah. Yep.
So,
like that we
That's
define
like
that as a society as being important. I don't know why.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like,
important thing?
well, I mean, like, no, think about, like, anytime you say a virgin, a female, it's considered good. A male, it's considered bad. That's our society.
Because society has set it up that way.
Yep.
Well, I mean, exactly, but that's why they say what they say. I mean, they're not wrong. I mean, they're highlighting things that are not great about our society, but they're not wrong. Yeah, that's crazy.
I think it's funny.
I have an idea, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, fall down the rabbit hole.
Is it about chastity? Or is it about good versus evil?
It's about virginity. Virginity. Is that like...
Ooh.
Nailed it.
Ooh.
I'm smart. I was in special ed. Okay.
Virginity. Wink, wink. Virginity.
Virginness.
Going back to being a virgin as a female is considered a good thing, and being virgin as a male is considered a bad thing. usually in relationships, as I found, the woman often, not always, but often picks the male, or like at least allows the male to have a chance, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, the reason not being a virgin as a male is considered a good thing is because it means that you have somehow made yourself valuable enough to someone with some sort of form of skills or services or morality to make you acceptable as a man in society.
Cunnilingus.
That assumes that sex is the only thing that has value or makes you.
But
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Which
what you're
I'm not
talking
saying
about
from,
like realistic versus societal portrayal, right?
I
Like-
think. Go ahead. Like-
No, I was just gonna describe it further, but you're good.
No, go ahead.
You-
I wouldn't actually mind to see where
Well-
you were going with it.
Okay. What
Well-
I'm saying is that like if you in like movies and in comedies and in
Stories.
little comics, just anything that is like in books, like male virginity is always portrayed as a not great thing. And
Yeah.
not whether it's not great, but it's always considered as like a embarrassment.
Mm.
Meanwhile, like a female virgin is considered as a like sparkling diamond that needs to be cherished.
My
I don't agree with this statement, but I'm just acknowledging society's like you play on this is how this is.
So my point was that female virginity shows that you have high standards, and the lack of male virginity shows that you have met those standards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Agreed.
Wow, why did this turn into the psychology episode after we like time traveled and punched people in the face and talked about what the fuck?
Because that rabbit holes happen. They
Ah.
start somewhere and they end up somewhere completely fucking different.
I'm starting to sober up after my 3 beers because that's all I had.
Aw.
He's like, how the fuck did we get here?
I need more beer for this.
Fantastic. Yeah, I was looking up the D&D handbook, the definition
Yeah.
of evil.
And those were always vague to me, in my opinion, too. So that's why I deferred to you guys. And in my opinion, too, it's really how you just want to play your character. Like, if you want to do things that you wouldn't have allowed your good character to do them here. If you have things
Yeah.
that your good character or your bad character does that you don't want him to do in the good campaign, don't do them there.
Yeah. So I think where I struggle, maybe. So I'm going to talk about Mariel's struggles here. Is that I don't think she'd be with this group. Like, there's nothing keeping her. There's these bumbling idiots that keep doing like crazy shit, and in her head she's going, "This makes no sense. Like, this is not benefiting me in any way that they just punched a guy that we were trying to get information from." And so, like,
I don't think that any of us would be in the group willingly, but I think that goes basically on most of us being somewhat selfish.
I think so. I agree with everything you said, Sarah, and I think the thing is, like, for at least for me and for Zolas, the ounce of hope that maybe these people can like are the only way to get out of here, or like the only way to achieve. I don't even think Zolas doesn't believe the godhood thing, but like, I think the only reason that I and Zolas are still with the group is it's like I'm not going to be able to get out of here on my own, which is enough reason to stay with the group. But that doesn't mean that she's not going to have conflict in the group, which I think is also an interesting thing because clearly it's playing out.
Yeah. Warren is in the same place, especially since he joined the group after you guys have seemed to already be together for like a certain period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't think it's camaraderie. I think it's like I don't have any other options. Like we found ourselves here and we don't know why or how, and there's no other options.
That's like the main thing for Ash too. Like Ash was out like campaigning for her family and then just got teleported to this place, and she's like, well, I still have the mission to do for my family and now I'm stuck in hell, so let's escape. And she's just basically sticking with all of these other people because she's like, they're gonna help me, and as soon as they're done serving their purpose, we're gonna move on.
Warren's definitely the same way. I don't think he would ever like willingly stay with a group of people more than like 2 weeks before he like tried to backstab one of them.
Which I would definitely see like after all of this is done, we all have this like crazy moment of just like, bye.
Have a wonderful time.
Bye. Have a good time.
But also, it's going to be so long that I feel like we're going to be like, well, now what do we do?
Well, we've done this much together.
Oh, like we have like that power thing of like, well, we've clearly have some sort of mesh ability between our skills that allow us to get things done. So it'd be beneficial for us to continue to do that.
Yeah, at least for Zolas, like there is a goal to get out, but once we do get out, like there is not a life she's going back to. So it's like, well,
yeah. and maybe that's like a little bit on us, on like character creation, that like okay, maybe I need to like sit down and figure out like why she's trying to get out of this place, because at the moment there's no reason she's going anywhere.
I've had that exact same thought with my character, because in my mind above ground is what I'm going to consider like our normal realm.
Yeah.
And he's definitely not a liked person up there. He leaves most of his villages that he has visited in ashes or in chaos, because my flaw as I have a character flaw, and it literally says an innocent person has been executed because of me, and I don't care.
Wow. See, when I made Ash, okay, so Josh asked me if I wanted to be in a campaign of evil characters, and I was like, fuck yes I do, because I was having a beef with someone in real life that I could not do anything about. Let me tell you what, I'm still having this beef, and I'm not going to mention their name.
Mm-hmm.
But they just rub me the wrong way. They piss me off so much. Every time they talk to me, I want to punch them in the face. But because I'm a good, lawful, good human being, I don't do it. So I'm like, I'm going to do this in the game. I'm just going to be this bitch in the game. And so I created this character that just had a hate for another character in the good campaign.
That's fantastic.
And then I built off of that. Okay, I was like, okay, why does she hate this character? And as I found more and more out about the other character, I've kind of built Ash's story around this. So Ash is from a noble family, and her mother is this really manipulative person and kind of has twisted Ash's mind into thinking that this person that she hates, which she hates for no reason except for the fact that her mother convinced her that this person was a horrible, evil person. So Ash is going out into the world trying to get more influence for her family so that she can combat this person who she thinks is evil, who she thinks is no good, who she thinks is doing bad things for the world at large or for the kingdom at large. So, yeah, she went out campaigning to get influence for her family.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom had been, like, polishing her for this. And then she got teleported down here. So her end goal is to get out of this place. And if she can become a god, she will definitely take that, because that'll be a step for more power for her family. Because, like, They now have a god in the family. They can fucking do what they want. She can just smite that bitch.
Yeah.
So
Which makes sense. Like, and I feel like you have that purpose that's able to, like, okay, I need to get this out there. But, like, and I think whenever I joined on, we joined, like, jumped into the evil campaign. In my head, it was like this, we don't know where we're from. Like, yeah, there's an up world, there's a down world. But, like, you know, my
maybe that's
character
something
knows.
your character can discover while down here.
Yeah.
So, to take a flip this perspective, since we seem to be concentrating on the evil side of the two campaigns, I'm going to talk about Frederick. Because...
Your shield master?
Yes, and the reason he had been... He's so focused on protection nowadays is that... I don't know. In a prior life of his, let's say, he was basically like destruction incarnate.
He was not a good person.
He's a Goliath. He belonged to a Goliath tribe at one point.
Yeah.
And then something happened. I still haven't made up my mind exactly of what, but it ended up with him almost dying and in a pseudo coma. And he woke up being cared for by someone a week earlier he would have slaughtered just 'cause.
Yeah.
And he realizes that he should be dead. Like, actually dead. He should have never been showed the kindness that he was because of who he was. And that kind of sits with him wrong now.
Yeah.
So he is out in the world trying to better himself.
Well, I wouldn't say to better himself. I feel like he's now of the mindset that he is a bad person at heart. He always has been, he always will be, and he can't change that. But maybe if he, I don't know, can
He's
live out
trying
the
to
rest.
redeem himself, it sounds like.
But like, yeah, but kind of live out the rest of his life instead of hurting or taking what he wants. He'll take the punishment that other people don't.
Sir, punching people in the face is not the way to do that.
That was
that's Frederick.
Yeah, that was the other.
Yeah, that's wrong. Not Frederick. Frederick is a kind of like lost in his like mind of like what he can actually do to make the world a better place, because he doesn't feel like the best possible world doesn't involve him, if that makes sense.
He's self-destructive?
To an extent, yes.
Confused because Warren is your character down here.
Mm-hmm.
So evil.
Yes.
Yeah. I could have sworn you just said that like him.
I might have misspoke.
Well, I thought you switched over to talking about like the good character's motivations. What is that? What is your good character's motivations? Georgie just spoke of his character Frederick.
Frederick, as a character, believes that no matter what he does, he won't fix the wrong that he has committed in his lifetime, but he tries desperately to make the world a better place, even though the better place he sees doesn't involve him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now I'm questioning my good motivations.
Yeah, my good motivations are not as clear to me either.
Yeah, because Thea is... I always thought she was good, but she has the same kind of selfish motivations that we were just talking about. But I guess the difference is that she just won't... Where Zolas will do literally whatever it takes, I think that Thea is probably chaotic good in that she wouldn't just... Like, if it benefited her, she wouldn't stoop to doing something evil. But, like, at the same time, she's doing everything she's doing for a selfish reason. But that's also maybe just because I, like, the way I've built these characters, like, I'm just having them react to their own story.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Like you have two chaotic neutrals.
So Ash
Yeah.
talked about her character, and that it's basically an outlet for her not listening to her like voices to punch the person that she doesn't like in the face.
Yes.
So is that the definition of good? Is having those thoughts and not acting on them?
Yes. I would say
yeah. Is
Like,
that the
it's like-
neutral evil would act on them versus like.
So I feel like
neutral
you
good
can have
wouldn't.
selfish thoughts and desires and not act on them, and that's what makes you a good person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
get-
every single person has those thoughts, those desires. It is your choice to pursue them and make them real is what would make you an evil person.
Man, I don't know if talking about this is helping my mental state or making it worse.
Well.
We can stop.
The problem too I foresee with it is ultimately that when you were talking about it, the action being whether or not you pursue an evil action is how do you define the action as evil in that second. Because you only have your perspective up until then to be able to act on it, you know. You don't have omnipotence to know all that there is to know whether or not what you're going to do right now is good, you know. But
okay. Well, so if you were to say like me not punching that person in the face in real life is essentially a good thing. Correct?
unless that person goes home and beats their children for the rest of the day.
Well, no, but then you'd still be controlling. Easy there, Tiger.
But
you're like that's a general like.
There's a fine line,
and I'm controlling it. So
Yeah.
person has urge, controls it, based off of societal norms, or let's take out societal. I feel like we're confusing this. Let's just say person has an urge and controls it. That means good. Person has an urge and acts on it. That's evil.
See, I don't know about that because
I don't think all urges are technically evil. I feel
exactly.
Urges that
because I have to pee sometimes, and if I don't act on it,
urges that
would make you chaotic because sometimes you act on it and sometimes you don't.
Having to pee makes you chaotic.
Urges that would negatively affect other people and you knowingly act on them is evil.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Well, then I have two chaotic evil characters.
Wait, no, you don't act on urges and knowingly act
evil.
on urges that you know that are being affected.
But what I'm saying is, like, you can act on urges as a good person. Like, say, I've made enough money this week to buy myself that comic book I wanted. And it might be an urge, but that doesn't make... But you worked for the money to buy the comic book, so it's your money. You can do what you want. So even though it's an urge, it's not like a negative thing.
And
carjacking someone because you need a... Yeah, carjacking someone because you need a ride to work, even though you know that's going to fuck up their day, would be an urge that you would have to not act on, not because it negatively affects someone.
So then maybe the urges, the level of urges are like what makes it evil and versus good. Because like maybe evil, you have the urges to carjack somebody, to kill somebody, to, you know, other terrible things, to like, you know, to benefit you, versus like neutral is like you have urges, but it doesn't really affect people. But then your good character, you have urges that affects people in a positive manner, that improves their life. Would everyone agree with that?
I'm going to say that I am not smart enough to answer that question efficiently.
I would say.
Can you restate it, please? I was reading something from my mom. Sorry. Give me the highlights.
No, I really don't care.
Okay,
so evil is okay. So we're gonna describe evil, evil, neutral, good is your level of urges and where they kind of end up. So like evil is you act on urges that affect other people negatively. So you go and you hijack a car. You go, you steal something. You go, you kill somebody, right? Those are evil urges, right? Neutral is you have urges that don't affect anybody. And then good is that you have urges that improve other people's.
That improve other people's lives?
Yeah. So like, I'm going to save this city. You know, I'm going to
So kind of the
you know,
superhero model.
I'm gonna kill this doctor that's hurting people. But maybe killing the doctor. So that's right. That's lawful versus chaotic. Because lawful, I wouldn't kill them because I would save them and put them into jail. But chaotic, I would kill them because that's the smarter way, or that's like the way to do it. That's the easier way to do it. Whether if it follows under law.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's very much the superhero model.
Yeah.
I just think that maybe I'm not strict enough, but my characters will always cross lines. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever play a character that maybe because I just am not, every decision I make I need to be thinking about it more, but also like the line is so blurry that it's.
Well, I don't think alignment should be a bedrock thing. I think it should be.
Yeah, it should be a helpful guideline.
Because, okay, you have a time machine, and you can go back and kill Hitler. Do you go back and kill Hitler when he was a child?
Nah.
Yeah, kill it at the root.
There's so many things that could go fucked up with that. I don't.
This is my point.
Yeah, every time travel book, movie, plot never goes the way that you want it to. It's always
Basically, what we've considered with time travel is that changing the past doesn't work. Not because it's not that you're fixing one problem, but in fixing one problem, you open a Pandora's box into every other problem that could have happened.
Yeah, so if you think about it like that, what if Hitler was like the lesser of evils that could have happened at that time?
Yeah, so let's say you kill
that could happen in that moment in time. So if you go back and kill him, then something more evil comes out of the woodwork, and you caused that.
Like, okay, so I'm a history buff, and Hitler had like a cabinet of people that he called on, and some of them might have been worse than him. Like in a general sense. Like, they might have been even less human in their, like, way of, like, thinking.
So, do we agree that Hitler is lawful evil?
Yeah. He definitely is lawful evil.
Yeah.
So, you can have people under Hitler that would be chaotic evil.
Yeah, like, they realize what he's doing is an evil thing, but they're totally all right with it because they're getting so much enjoyment out of the evil that he is doing.
Bingo.
My point.
But and this is going back even farther in time, but I believe it's the person, I can't remember his name, but by our definitions of what we were talking about, too, evil would be the person that burned down the Parthenon just for creating infamy, and he was actually the person that was named after and where we get the name infamy from. He did it so that his name would be put down in history. That was it.
Oh, so he has the. I don't know if I want to say that.
I was on board until we got to one point, which was enjoyment, because we never before brought that up.
Yeah.
Is that the difference between chaotic and lawful? Is chaotic is that you're doing it for yourself because you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay, this goes back to me saying that Warren is now chaotic evil, is because he wants to watch the world burn.
Chaotic, I think, means unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything, but it doesn't sound as good when you say lawful unpredictable. It does not sound as good when you say that.
And that's where I think actually I think that that's the differentiation between good versus evil. So if you enjoy doing things that negatively impact others, you're on the evil side. If you enjoy doing things that don't impact, like good, that impact other people, that don't impact, that's more selfish, you're neutral. But then if you do things that you enjoy, that impact people positively, then you're good.
I need a drink.
I have two right next.
Making sense.
It is making sense. It's just a lot of food for thought.
And it's
There's
also
so many different
avenues you can take.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's literally not like, because we're kind of like dividing this into like a 4 square block. Like you're either really good and you enjoy being really good, or you're really good for no reason. Like you just follow the law.
Okay, so going back, so evil. So she said, that evil is enjoyment in hurting or like negatively affecting other people.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I wouldn't say good is enjoyment in helping other people. I think good could also be sacrificing your own joy for other people.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But would you sacrifice your own good to negatively hurt people? Would that be like?
I mean, that depends on what your end goal is.
Consider
like, evil? I don't think, I think America joining World War II to defeat Hitler was a good thing, but I feel like most people would rather not go to war.
Yeah, the 4 square thing.
And war definitely negatively affects people.
The 4 square thing, I think also, if you add in the other layer, which is self versus, like, again, society, like, are we doing this in terms of good or bad for me or good or bad for everyone? Because those are 2 different things.
And that's what I was going back to for a personal perspective on the matter, because, yeah, you can do something that's good for you and do something that's good for society, and they mean completely different things.
Well,
they
okay,
mean the same thing.
Wait. So, could you define lawful versus chaotic as good for, like, so chaotic is good for me, lawful is good for you, and then, Cassidy, say that again.
I see what you're saying. Chaotic is, that's the selfish thing again. Chaotic is I will do it because it's good. It will positively impact me.
Right.
Lawful is I will do it because it positively impacts a group or population of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what neutral is though. That's
doing nothing.
Neutral is it doesn't impact anybody. So you make choices. You're the person that just
looks for
it's one of those things where you ask somebody a question and they respond with a question back, and you're like, "You son of a bitch!" Like,
yes,
that's neutral.
Yay, I'm neutral.
Oh man, I had a thought. It's okay. So you're saying chaotic helps you, but doesn't help anybody else, right? Is like that's, or like somewhat of that. Because my first thing was like, okay, so let's say you live in a society that is lawful evil by definition.
The Drow are an excellent example of that, usually in the D&D world.
Okay, so you hold a revolt, which would be chaotic, because how about instead of saying lawful and chaotic have to do with good and evil, lawful and chaotic have to do with...
They're their own things. They don't have anything to do with each other.
I feel like we're messing up by trying to like conflate the two.
Yeah.
I feel like we should say lawful sacrifices freedom for predictability, and chaotic does the opposite.
Right, I just think those things have to do with selfishness and I want to say society, but that's probably not that's not the best word to use. But sure, yes.
Tribalism. That's not really.
When you're doing something
either.
lawful, you're doing it like in a group think kind of way.
Yeah.
When you do something lawful, you're not like, I'm gonna follow the law because I like the law. You're usually doing it because you're like, this is what a group of people have decided is the best for us.
Unless you're the person that is writing that law.
So are you saying that whether that person has balls or not?
What?
Like, if you have the balls to be like, fuck the law.
Well, I feel like...
Then you're chaotic.
Right?
No. More like you're the person that thinks that they have experienced enough to understand that this should be the law. So in a way, but not at exactly how you're interpreting it, I would say, because you're not doing it out of spite, like you said, has the balls, right? Like, you're not doing it to be better than everybody else. You look at everyone else and you're doing it in an analytical view and in a way that you think is the correct way.
But I also believe that like you could be a lawful character and be that for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Because the law like the reason. Okay, I'm gonna live.
Frollo was lawful for completely selfish reasons.
So, I describe myself politically as a libertarian because I don't really care what you do with your life as long as it doesn't affect me. But there's a lot of libertarians who fall into the anarchy side, and I think that is stupid because as much as I think a person should be free to do what they want, at a certain point, anarchy turns into the strong devour the weak, and that's a bad thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So far, so good.
So you're saying that's
You're
lawful?
saying that you're a neutral individual.
Lawful neutral.
No, I would say
Wait.
chaotic neutral. Because they don't think
True
that
neutral
will be defined.
Wait, have we gone to classifying ourselves? I had to go to the
Yeah,
bathroom.
we are.
Sorry.
I have the belief that there are a lot of laws that are stupid and have no actual point and that should be fixed, but I don't think there should be no laws.
A lot of the laws that seem kind of stupid. I want to say seem kind of stupid.
Have merit somewhere at some point because of something.
Something happened.
Like somebody got shot for having an ice cream cone in their pocket.
I get that.
Right. Yeah, that's dumb.
And that's why we can't have ice cream cones in our pockets in Ohio on Sundays or some shit like that. I forget what the actual
It's
law
about
is.
stealing horses. I know what you're talking about. I actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know the law that exists still because no one's bothered taking it out because it affects no one.
There are laws like that, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about laws that are made because
people are idiots.
Yeah.
Anarchy is advantageous to the strong because it allows them to do it at once. But law is advantageous to the weak because it stops the strong people from hurting them, which is most of the time a good thing, but it also stops the weak people from becoming strong.
Wait.
I think the problem with it is ultimately that it's you're still thinking of it in a two-portion system, which nothing ever is. And that's why I find myself, especially in modern times and eras, leaning towards a Buddhistic view of things with the middle way, as they call it, in what you're talking about, because there's not just one side or the other. That's where good and evil falls
There's
apart.
always gray area.
Yeah.
Okay, true neutral.
There's always they all exist at the same time with each other. So there are three major influences on the world, and it is what you choose, left, right, or middle. There is not just left or right.
Okay, are we getting into politics? Because if we are, I will go there. If not, I will stay in the good. Chaotic.
I only brought up politics because I wanted to bring up the concept of anarchy as a concept.
Yeah, I understand.
And why it's stupid.
I feel what you're saying about how you feel politically, but I do know people who say that they're libertarian in the same way that you're saying. I don't want laws shouldn't govern, what people can and can't do to an extent, but then they will say that statement and then pick and choose things that they care about.
Yeah.
I admit that no one is free of bias.
Yeah. Which is where, again, we're getting into the political stuff. So, I think the statement that I've made before is, individually, if humans as individuals, I would say that I'm a liberal. But, or libertarian, I apologize, not libertarian, right? Where I think that, if everyone did the generically, correct of society to better the society, if people naturally did things to better society, then I'd be a libertarian. But then there's parts of me that kind of recognize this stupidity of us as a whole, and you kind of just lean towards way more law because you're like, okay, the pandemic happened or what happened, but okay, something happened and things were all up in arms and you guys decided to burn down a part of natural or you burn down forest because you can, whether that's the right thing or not. People don't, we get caught up in our own lives.
People aren't rational.
Realize that it's better for the society or not. There's plenty of times where you're okay. Well, I am doing architecture. Okay. Well, in architecture, it's it's better for me to have higher rates. Okay. Well, and then it's better for me to just produce a shit ton of industrial buildings because we get paid more and it's less for us to do because we got a standardized system. So at that point we can just keep doing that. But there's a point of you going, as an architect, this is what benefits me. I'm going to do this because this benefits me. And you almost need somebody to pull you back and go, hey, listen, code is a thing. Society is a thing. Currency is also a thing. And materials, the cost of materials are also a thing. because you've been building these buildings, we now don't have any steel. Now we don't have any, metal panels. We don't have any concrete because you've used up all of these materials. So there's like this push and play of like, we have to be respected to society and understand, like, okay, we can't just do what's best for us. Like, you have to have somebody that's looking out and going, hey, you can't just do this, because if you keep doing this, then we're going to run out of materials, or we're going to run out of X, Y, and Z.
I understand what you're saying, and before we continue, I have to say I'm sorry to the audience who's listening to this who expected this to be about D&D. Because I know you didn't
If
come
they're
to
listening to this.
I
they
know
could
you,
just skip
Josh
this track.
thinks that this is worthy of posting, he might just stop it at there. He might have just, before Sarah talked, he might have just bloop, like, and that was our conversation about good or evil.
I think it should get uploaded just as an artifact of time.
Yeah, it shall. Don't worry. The thing I want to point out with that whole explanation of it too is that in a way we're all beholden to something and someone and to everyone, and truly ultimately end up being neutral in the overall arcing thing. It just depends upon what color we're painted in after we've laid the line work for what we thought we should do at the moment, That's all that good and evil is, in my opinion.
You don't get to paint your own portrait.
Exactly.
I need that on a shirt right now.
Yeah. And, like, not to bring, like, D&D, but, like, so I finally found the part in the handbook, right? And it kind of like a interesting, like, it says creatures, so chaotic evil, right? So we're on the last square. Creatures act with arbitrary violence, spurred by, and I think the thing is spurred by greed, hatred, bloodlust, demon. So, like, I guess at that point it's like gluttony, like the sins, right? You're spurred by the sins.
Yep.
Versus lawful good, which is creatures who can be counted on to do the right thing as expected by society.
Yeah, so D&D has ultimately been created based upon the morality code of Christianity, if you can't tell.
I was waiting to say this, which was not to bring religion into it, but I mean, this is so hard because lawful, I mean, you got the law, if we're talking in terms of our own lives, you got, like, government, or maybe you follow the laws of your religion, or I feel like I just have, like, my own moral code, which is probably made up of some made-up version of laws that already exist, but, like, if we're talking D&D, if you're like a paladin, your law is your god, and it's religion, it's lawful could mean any number of those things, and a mixture of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to just go down them for you here, too, I think it goes lust, gluttony, greed, anger, heresy, violence is the 7th level, and the 8th level, which is fraud, and then the 9th level, which is the lowest level, which is where Satan is usually kept. He is is technically in a level of his own for defying his father God.
The name of this shall be Good and Evil and the Existential Crisis that lies in between.
Yeah, I always thought that was, and these are Dante's levels of hell, to be clear.
Yeah, I feel like Cassidy as a human comes across as lawful, even though I don't give a shit about the laws and I just have my own moral code. But does that make me chaotic? Or does that make me I don't know.
Okay, wait. Lawful neutral. Individuals act in accordance with law, tradition, or personal codes.
Mm-hmm.
Lawful neutral.
So going back to what Josh said about Dante does the like 9 circles of hell or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So it's saying the worst level of hell is your own personal hell that you create.
Maybe.
That's dark.
But probably accurate.
Yep.
Man, I really hope I'm going to be able to go to sleep after this.
Shit.
We're gonna lie awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about our own personal hells.
A grand and wonderful thank you for those who took the time and made it here, to the end of the episode, where I know sometimes we are long-winded, and others we are just dead silent. I don't know what to tell you. This is raw here, folks. Please remember to like and subscribe, and you can help support us just by listening. But you can also provide even more support, if you like, by going to Anchor FM page and following the support link there. If you do so, I will personally work in an NPC or an idea, whatever you'd like to hear played out. If you want, you can get a hold of us through one of our many options, including voice messages on Anchor FM, or DM to our Twitter, or any other social media that you can find us, YouTube, etc. You can share your ideas, otherwise listen for the shout out and thank you for making it through.